as we'll get to the fifth episode as our playthrough of Egypt. Today, what's on the mind for this episode is we are still trying to complete this reunite Alexander's Empire little decision thing, which we will eventually have to expand all the way over here, but right now we're not really ready to engage the Seleucid Empire, so that their economy is just about as good as ours, or it looks like it's a lot worse. But they do have these subject states, which can give them quite a few troops, as well as having a lot of troops themselves. And our economy is really good, so what we're going to be doing is trying to complete this part of the Alexander's quest, and take this land. So what we're going to be doing is just landing right here and taking out this country, as well as maybe defeating Macedon, and then spreading through here, because we do want a little foothold before we then again declare war on Macedon. So that's what we're doing. We will need to expand the size of our navy, considering that it is pretty small compared to the size of our army, so it might take two shipments of troops to kind of let them get over there. So our navy is right here, and so for this we don't really need combat ships like these more expensive ones. Really just need a bunch of these, and we do have quite a few ports, considering that all of this land right here, and we don't have many over here, and we have some along here, so that shouldn't take too long, because you do need a port to complete these, and they're all 73 days. You see that we have 10 more additional to that. So we will unpause and kind of get ready. You do want to make a Cassus Belli, so we don't just sail over there, be like, we're here to declare war, and then be like, we don't have a Cassus Belli. And so we're just going to let those ships be recruited. See, that really doesn't take too long. And so there it is. We might want to import some wood in these areas. See, that does not alert you to imports from like areas that are not your capital region, which is sometimes annoying, because you're like, well, I can't import things. Well, you can. You just have to kind of manually go in there. Although lots of places don't have any imports available, you can see these areas do. So I'll get some wood from there, because wood you do need to make ships. Or maybe you just need them to make more advanced ships. So our navy is now a bit bigger, although we still need to build these ships, and it looks like it's recruiting them one by one from like a harbor over here for some reason. Looks like it's just recruiting them one by one, so we'll just, maybe it's a bug, and we'll just exit out of a couple of these and then re-recruit them. And so I'll come back once we've gotten all of our ships. So our navy has finished assembling. You can see 71 ships right here. It is, for some reason, the second neutron. It just looks like that's the name of it. And so what we're going to want to do is load up this navy with quite a few troops, and then sail them to be right next to this nation, then declare war, so we don't ideally meet with Macedon's pretty big navy. See, Macedon has done pretty well this game and been taking quite a bit of land. You can maybe stop them at that. So either we lose a ton of loyalty in a different province, or this loyalty and then it grants him corruption, which will do that, because we ideally don't want to lose a ton of loyalty in a province, especially when we're about to go at war, so they could potentially betray us. And so we might be able to get everyone in the navy. Looks like we will. Our entire army is going to fit in that navy, it looks like. That is our entire army. 67,000 troops, which is all going to land right here. And there aren't any coastal forts, which is nice. That means we don't only have to unload at one point, as we can really unload all of that and then run our navy back here, or maybe shelter them in some friendly ports, because these are some of our subject states, which will ideally help us out in the war, although their navies probably will be destroyed by Macedon's navy. And so we can go over here, then hit declare war. See that Macedon does have quite a few allies, which is also happens to be the land that we do need for our reunite Alexander's Empire, so we declare war. And then they have brought another ally, Oros, right here, which is fine. And I bet that their army is, they do have quite a few archers, but not as much as anything else. They do have a lot of supply train, which is not going to help them out. And so we'll just unembark all of these troops all on this poor one country right here, and then we can kind of have them move out via land, and once they all embark, we'll put the army of 7,000 right there, which it'll probably be taken out by an army. We'll have them unembark right there with that 8,000 army because they aren't too big, and then we'll have these guys run all the way back to right here, which Macedon's army is probably not going to be able to catch us. And so these guys we can just have send over there, and then we can ideally, it looks like we are going to need our navy for one more thing. We'll load them back up with these two armies, and we'll have them lay siege to that fort, because that'll then give us access to this little crossing, which you see is now blocked, and now it's not blocked. And so what that'll do is let us transport our troops between, and so we're going to also have that army of 24,000, because Macedon is probably going to have their army head over and probably smash that army. Looks an army's already attacking them, and so we'll have them head over and then have this army or navy, keep saying army, but go back and hide in that port. And so we're doing pretty well. These guys can be in infinite operations, so we are currently winning this war by 1, and these guys can be in infinite operations as well, and they do not have free reign because we do need that fort to be finished. So we'll have these guys here as kind of moral support and backup, because if they were to, let's see, someone that does not have a job, that person, if they were to attack this army, they can just head in and back them up. You can see that they are having a large army going, so we're just going to move our troops to hide with that big army, and then they won't be able to take us out. Ideally, their army is pretty big, and so we can cross with this army. So we'll have them kind of sit there, and then if they move their entire army to right there, which they will, and then these guys are going to, looks like they're not going to have a good day. So this seems to be their entire coalition of armies, mostly Macedon, it looks like. And so we might want to get our navy over here to block over this crossing, because our navy is ideally bigger than Macedon's navy for now. But we don't really want to risk a battle, because that will lose us a lot of ships, and then kind of the ships are the one way for our troops to get back to our kind of mainland. And so if I could get that army of 24,000 to block this army from backing them up, see, they are going to head back, and now it's not going to be a good day for that army unless they beat them in time. They won't. They are really low in morale, and so it looks like they're going to have a very, very bad day. I don't know what that was, but they literally just dropped their troops, because these are our allies, right into that army and got instantly destroyed. I don't know what that was. You see, we do need 3,000 men to regenerate our armies, which is not great. But they still don't have a way, once we get this fort, to come over and attack us. You can see we are losing, probably because of those battles. And they do control that province, which is not for long, because once we take that fort, it'll be in our control. So let's fix a couple of those problems. You can see that we do have a Scorn family, the Laggard family. These families are getting pretty big. See that? He is a Bailius, so we might want to fix that up once this war is finished, because we don't really want any distractions. We can have these two armies head up, because it looks like they kind of went away for whatever reason, and we can have them go over and take some land. See that we won this siege, and so we can have them have all of our armies go over and reinforce this army if that one big army decided to take or to come over and say hi to us, which hopefully doesn't, because ideally we'd be able to take them out one by one. So we won that siege there, and you can see our war score should be going up once we capture the rest of these more pirates. These little areas right here, I'm doing manually for some reason. So these guys we can have head over to this fort. You can see that this crossing should now be available to us, and we can easily cross over. And so we'll have these guys take that, and then we'll really put these two on infinite operations, so they can go help us out and take some land. You can see that our war score, it should say that we control that once we maybe take whatever we still need to be taken. What do we need? Achia. Can't spell. Looks like, yeah, we just need that, which we kind of do control. Like every little bit of it. See that we could completely get all of this land. Maybe it just hasn't loaded in. Looks like we do control that as well because of the fort. And so you can see an army that's probably not ours or friendly to us. You can see Macedon has brought over one of their armies, and so we're going to want to get our armies, and well, all of their armies at this point. And it looks like they are very much stuck. They can't go anywhere because they're kind of trapped by that fort, which is so it's not good for that army. They're not going to be having a good day. So we're going to want to assemble all of our armies right here because they've kind of formed what I call like a super army, meaning that it has a bunch of troops. You see that we did kill 4,000 of them. So there it looks like they're going to be able to catch our army. And so we have lost quite a few men, it looks like. And so we're going to want to recruit some more, because this war is not going the best for us. So we'll recruit one archer so we can build an army like that. And if we can reinforce, their morale is really, for some reason, super low. Looks like that we are going to be able to win somehow, and that's really bad for them because now that big army was just kind of demolished by a fairly smaller army. You can see this green option is which burns the game, telling you it's the worst option. So we do have a really good economy, so we can afford to lose that that money. So you can see the 6th Stratos has been born, so we can appoint someone, and then we can build it up and send it. Kind of ship it over there to help out our troops. The economy is pretty good, mostly because we don't have 25,000 men that would normally be helping us out. You can see barbarians are being annoying over there, laying siege to a fort, and so we can just pay them off, which is probably going to be the best option. You can see we could create tribal vassal, meaning that they would own this land, which is really not necessary. And so they would want quite a bit of money. And so if we can maybe... Looks like that's going to be what we're going to have to pay. Because we are currently at war, so we don't really want to send in our whole army over there. But then they're just going to go raid someone else. They won't bother us anymore. So this army is just about finished being built. See, barbarians somewhere else not there. And so this armies are on independent operations. And so we are, for some reason, still, it looks like defender controls. They really don't. I mean, we do control it. See that? It's kind of switching back and forth there. Oh, it looks like maybe we just needed this. Yep, that was it. Now, we did just take that, and that was the problem. And so, when you're at war, always look at the war goal, because that it is, as you can see, a pretty good thing. It gives you a lot of extra war score that you might not be able to get otherwise. So this is just sieging, then re-sieging, then unsieging. It's kind of annoying. You see that this person is disloyal. You see that they are 72 years old, so that might not be a problem for a really long time. Or it might not be, will be a problem for a short amount of time, you could say. And so we'll send that army over. It is low in morale, but it should be fine. And so we'll send them over, ideally avoiding Macedon's army, because if they do defeat us, it looks like they decided to give us a peace, and they... tributary. No. Tributary is not the same as owning this land, which we could very well do, considering that we are currently winning this war. See that we have lost more men than them, but we are also a bigger country with a lot more manpower. And so, looks like this army is doing really well. Took that capital, which means we could take all of this, technically. Although we don't get the war score from it, we have to actually take it to get the war score. You see that they're not going to allow us to get that, which is really why we're doing this. Because we do want this entire country right here, which will provide a base for us to be able to take all of this out, and then ideally take Macedon out. So this army is heading over. And so we might just drop them somewhere around there. You can see that they have the same. That'll happen quite a lot. They'll just give you the same offer and over again because they just feel like doing that. But you can say that. And so we'll have this third Stratos and second Stratos, or we can have this entire army head over, defeat an equally sized but lower morale Macedon army. You can see that there's their navy. At long last, they've emerged from wherever they were. So this army, we'll just have them get a bit closer in, as we don't really need them marching through all this land, because really no reason to. And so these guys can disembark. You can see we're going to lose some more money, and we can go into that as long as they don't untake it, which they probably won't. And this is nice just to have that army kind of on call right there. And so this army is going to go over there for whatever reason. Ideally, we have those armies, put them all in independent operations. See the same offer again, even though our war score has gone up. And so this will have them just go and lay siege to that fort, because that will increase our war score by a lot. Okay, just randomly taking tiles. And so we're going to get more light infantry offense, because our army does have quite a lot of light infantry. And so that's pretty good. That's essentially like a lot of our army getting a ton more morale or offense. And so we're taking a lot of land. They want another offer. It's the same offer once again. I know the AI in this game can be kind of buggy, but you should always look, because sometimes they can give you ridiculously good offers, which I've had happen only a couple times. But it can be really nice. See that siege going well. I thought that was a plus for a second. I was like, that's a fast siege error, but it wasn't. So you can see that they are attacking us with their low morale army. And that's probably because the average of their morale, you see that one of them is, some of their morale. Their armies are on low morale. You can see that these guys are all doing the right thing and helping them out, ideally. So we'll send all of our armies to right here to kind of back up this battle, because that's kind of a turning point battle. Looks like we won, or didn't really give me a victory message, or it looks like maybe we lost, because one army is retreating. I don't know what happened there, but we did lose a lot. We lost that. Looks like we do not control this because they are there, and so this army should be able to deal with that once it kind of comes back, and then we can take out that army. It looks like it's one of the armies from the people that we're also at war with over here, and so we'll just, once it stops retreating, send it over there, and then it will start to regenerate with that manpower. Looks like these guys are also heading over to help us out, and maybe it's that's not taken. So once that is taken, our war score will go up. So we do have an omen morale of armies, because that's helpful, because we are at war, and morale of armies is pretty necessary when you're at war. See, that's the entire, you can see that this army could potentially beat this way bigger army, because they are low in morale, and we'll have these armies, looks like they're going to go help them out. Ideally, this army would head over there, and so now that army's turned around, and now I'm gonna have to send this army over to deal with it. See that they are not on our side. They are not on either side. They probably just have military access to here. You see that we did just win this siege. We can also send this army over, which is kind of overkill, but they do have a short distance to travel, so we'll just let these guys do whatever they want. You see that this battle is still going on, and so it's not going to go well for these guys if they can't win really quickly. See that disciplined, and we took out quite a few of their troops. We did lose a lot of ours, and you can see we are laying siege to the capital. And that's, well, I mean, that is good, because capitals typically are good to lay siege to, because they do increase your war score by a lot. See that someone else kind of jumped on this and declared war on these guys, and it would be Phrygia. Phrygia is, nope, it's just at war with this nation, even though we have already completely taken it over. See that the war goal is no longer even up there. And so it looks like we could easily take this land, but we're not just gonna settle with that. Not the best offer, and we can maybe try and go with some a bit better of an offer, potentially capitalizing on this opportunity, because we could take a lot of Macedon land, which would help us out. You can see this is also their land. See, that's Phrygia, wherever it is. They're probably sending over some troops. So another offer, the same offer once again, even though we have all of this taken. So these guys are not on independent operations, or they're just being lazy. Now it looks like they're actually doing stuff. And so we'll order this army to stay right here, because we don't want them seeing a bigger army passing by, and then going over chasing it, and then losing that siege, because they are doing rather well. You can see it's only a level 1 fort, even though it's the capital of the nation. These guys, we can put them on, or we can actually, because we do need people to guard this area, but for them from those smaller countries. So we can split them in half, and then this army can go beyond independent operations. Not the entire one. All these guys sit here, so this thing can stop sieging and then unsieging, which is kind of really annoying. The same offer. Maybe I should stop clicking on them. See, that looks like Rome is getting involved, and that random army is heading. Yep, Frigate is at war with them. I thought that was Rome for a sec. And so we either lose more money, gains popularity, but people lose in loyalty. We'll just lose a couple popularity. And so this army looks like it's doing whatever it wants to do. And so once this siege finishes, we all sue for peace. These guys have another bad offer. I feel like one time I'm going to accidentally accept. Hopefully I don't do that. And so we siege Pella as one, which is Macedon's capital. And so they're still not going to accept this very generous offer of us taking a lot of their land, which is kind of the only thing that's going to happen here. And so we could potentially take all of this. See, we could take all of this, even though it's way over the maximum of 100 score, or I mean points, you can kind of call it. Each little bit of land is worth something. That's the only thing that we couldn't really take. So we'll reset. Let's see what the suggest says. A pretty bad offer, considering that it just leaves half this country, and then we're gonna have to wait till the truce goes away with them, which would happen, and then that'll just be kind of annoying and unnecessary. So we're still gonna want to take all this, maybe this as well. That is negative 22, so we'll maybe leave that. We'll see how it goes. You can see they have another offer, the same exact offer. I really should stop clicking on it. We'll have these guys go lay siege there, which will pretty much kind of the only fort left in this area. These guys I'm gonna take these 2 bits of land before the other nations that are at war with Macedon could take them, because we wouldn't really want that. So you see, Macedon, its army has emerged from its slumber. Yeah, I'm not clicking this anymore. It's very tempting, but it'll go away after about maybe a month or 2 has passed. So these guys are now in independent operations. So these guys are kind of defending and holding the fort here. And the reason we're not kind of disappeared, and they asked us for another one. The reason we're not going after these little guys is because ideally they take them and then make a bigger nation that which you can go to war with, so we don't have to worry about all of these small nations, because those are always annoying to be at war with. And so looks like we are going to fight them. And this army is going to not helpfully sit over there. They actually will probably be fine. And tactical genius. And then, nope, I do not want you to be a tributary, as I've said only probably a couple 100 times. And these guys, it is a level 1 fort. And so we should be able to get a lot of land. You can see that they are now willing to do this. And so pretty much all of Macedon has been taken over now. See that they are lacking troops. And so once we take some of the land, that'll kind of set the ball rolling. And then it'll just be easier and easier and easier to take the rest of their land. Even more offers, which they really should know we're not going to accept. They probably do know, but they're just doing it hoping I misclick. And then, very displeased with this guy. These things are really annoying, because it'll just keep coming up, and then this guy will get drained of his loyalty. And so he is, if we pause the game, decent to these things. He is the primary heir, so ideally he's the loyal. because I mean he's a hair though, so I mean that's probably why he wants the job. And so we'll head over here, and you can see that. Do we find someone who's not in a major family? Looks like they all are. Guess that guy will just have to wait. See these guys. He's kind of sitting there in absolute defeat. And so, if this would finish, I'm not even. It's gonna ignore that now. So we did lose our commander, and this has a 43% chance of finishing. Then I'll just keep going up, or it will win, and we'll just let it automatically capture those bits of land around it. And then that should be it for this war. But we haven't finished everything that we could potentially get. We did take a lot. That is too much, which is kind of understandable. And so we will unselect these bits. I would really kind of want that fort. Though they're going to be very not willing to get that. Not again. I just want to see how worth this land. Okay then. We're going to have to adjust. It's going to suggest that land, which is actually not the worst thing, although we still, once again, don't want to leave a fragment of a country behind, because then we'll have to declare war on them again. We're going to want those forts that we did capture, because those are always annoying to obviously capture again. So we have a 14, so we should be able to take this capital, which is worth 10, which is a decent amount, and we can not all of that. We could take some more. This potentially. You see that we've pretty much taken all of their land. There's one fort up there, so we'll let that finish. One over there finish. So we have a 3. We cannot take that. So we'll settle for this. This is a decent amount of land. So okay. So now we have a lot more land and a very strong base. So that we've probably gotten some more of this. Looks like we didn't, or we got this one bit. It's Macedon. Well, we didn't get any of that, but we really should be able to. Next time we go with war with Macedon, we can ideally find someone that they're allianced with, and then go to war with them, which will automatically give us a war with Macedon. And then some more governors need appointing. That always happens after a war. And so that's going to be about it. You can see call for peace because we have no war exhaustion. But so that's about it for this video. Thanks for watching. I'll see you again in the 6th episode.